Have you ever witnessed a cat playing with its prey before eating it? Well, get ready for something similar. But here the roles are reversed. A huge reticulated python attacked a wild horse. After tightening its coils around its body, the snake waited a bit and then started biting the poor animal's neck. Although the horse struggled, it seemed as if the python would win. It looked like the snake would eat the horse alive. But that wasn't the end of the story. You won't believe what happened next. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on our amazing videos. It was a still night in the jungle. Not a single leaf or twig was stirring. Even the nocturnal critters were tucked away in their cozy spots, hoping to catch a few winks before sunrise. But for those who are active at night, it's playtime. Suddenly, a large horse raised its head, ears twitching like radar dishes, picking up some distant commotion. Its nostrils flared, inhaling the sense of danger and adrenaline that hung heavy in the air. Then it saw it, a monster of immense girth and oily scales slithered toward them, blocking their path. To make matters worse, it was a python, the kind that dreams are made of, except these dreams were nightmares. Its belly, broad enough to swallow a whole deer, was a roadmap of previous conquests, each line marking a tale of survival. The horse knew it was in trouble. This wasn't just any python, it was a reticulated python, a master ambush predator with a particular taste for large mammals. It stared back at the horse with cold, unblinking eyes that had seen countless sunrises and had the glint of hunger in them. But the horse wasn't going down without a fight. Wild horses have been known to take on predators twice their size, and this one was no exception. It reared up on its hind legs, its front hooves slashing at the air, trying to connect with the python's head. But the snake was too quick, too agile. It sidestepped the attack with a sinuous twist and was under the horse in a flash, its sharp teeth bared in a deadly grin. And then the world shifted. The python tightened its coils around the horse's waist, squeezing the life out of it. Each coil was a vice grip, each turn making it harder for the horse to breathe. The air in its lungs slowly expelled, replaced by the cold dread of impending doom. But the horse wasn't ready to give up. With a snort of defiance, it kicked out its front leg, catching the python off guard. The python let out a hiss, surprised by the unexpected counterattack. The horse used this precious second to thrash around, trying to dislodge the relentless coils that were slowly crushing its bones. The forest was silent, holding its breath as the drama unfolded. Every rustle of leaves, every chirp of an insect seemed deafening in the stillness. The horse strained against the python's suffocating coils, its muscles bulging, its eyes wide with exertion and fear. But the snake was relentless. It held on tight, its powerful coils digging deeper with each passing moment. Its cold, reptilian brain was calculating, efficient, and focused on one thing: subduing its prey. Outside of this deadly embrace, the jungle was a tableau of anticipation. Deer froze mid-stride, jackals crouched low to the ground, and even the owls in their lofty perches turned their heads to watch the spectacle below. All eyes were on the horse and the python. As the minutes ticked by, the horse's strength ebbed. Each breath became a monumental effort, its heart pounding against its ribs like a drum against a shield. Its muscles, once taut and powerful, began to tremble. The python, sensing its prey's weakening resolve, tightened its coils even more. The forest floor shook with the force of its grip. The horse reared up, bucking and thrashing in a last-ditch effort to break free. But the python was prepared for this. It anchored its tail firmly to the ground, using the leverage to hold the horse fast. The horse collapsed, its struggles gradually fading into weak tremors. The python, its coils still tight, opened its jaws and hissed, its hot, foul breath washing over the horse. It was ready to deliver the final blow. Just then, a tiny movement caught the python's eye. The horse's flank twitched, its nostrils flared, and it let out a snort, a sound that was both a curse and a promise. The python paused, momentarily taken aback by this unexpected turn of events. Was the horse surrendering, or was there one last trick up its sleeve? The snake hesitated, uncertainty flickering in its ancient eyes, and in that split second, the horse gathered its last reserves of strength. It thrashed violently, raking its sharp hooves across the forest floor. The impact sent a jolt through the python, breaking its concentration. The horse took advantage of this distraction, summoning a final surge of energy. It reared up, kicking out with its front legs. One of its hooves found its mark, connecting with the python's jaw. The python yelped, a sound alien to its predatory existence. The horse, driven by instinct and adrenaline, didn't hold back. It slammed into the python again and again, each kick fueled by the will to survive. The force of the blows shook the python to its core, rattling its internal organs and sending jolts of pain through its massive coils. With each kick, the horse managed to loosen one coil after another. The python, disoriented and in pain, tried to lash out, but its strikes lacked their usual venom. The horse, battered and bruised, stumbled back, creating distance between itself and the stunned reptile. The forest, which had been holding its breath, erupted into a cacophony of sound. The deer stamped their feet, the jackals yipped, and the owls hooted in a chorus of excitement. But the respite was short-lived. The python, recovering from its surprise, lunged forward. Its fangs flashed like daggers in the moonlight. The horse, exhausted and wounded, could only watch in horror as the snake approached. The python coiled around the horse's body, sinking its fangs into its flesh. The horse screamed, a sound that was a mix of pain and terror, but the snake was relentless. It injected its venom into the horse, hoping to paralyze it. The horse convulsed, trying to kick out, but its limbs felt heavy, its vision blurred. The python tightened its coils, constricting the horse's chest, cutting off its air supply. The horse struggled to breathe, its lungs screaming for oxygen. In the depths of its despair, the horse remembered the tales its mother had told them about a legendary herd of wild horses that lived deep in the forest. They were said to be fearless, strong, and united, led by a stallion whose courage knew no bounds. The horse remembered how his mother had urged them to follow their instincts, to run towards danger rather than away from it. And in that moment of dire need, the horse knew he had to trust his mother's wisdom. He let out a final scream, a desperate call for help. As if summoned by his call, the forest around them stirred. Leaves rustled, branches creaked, and the very earth rumbled. The horse watched in amazement as a herd of wild horses burst through the undergrowth, their manes flowing like banners in the night breeze. They were led by a magnificent stallion, his coat the color of burnished gold, his eyes blazing with determination. The stallion charged forward, his hooves pounding the earth like thunderclaps. The other horses followed, forming a solid phalanx of muscle and bone. The python, sensing the shift in power, momentarily hesitated. It looked from the beleaguered horse to the charging herd, and a flicker of fear crossed its reptilian eyes. But the snake's hesitation only lasted a heartbeat. It was a predator, its instincts honed by centuries of hunting. It would not be denied its prey. With a final surge of strength, it tightened its coils around the horse, preparing to deliver the fatal blow. But it was too late. The lead horse was upon it, his sharp hooves raking across the python's back. The python hissed in pain, its body thrashing wildly. The other horses joined in, their hooves pounding the snake's body, their teeth biting into its scales. The python, overwhelmed by the ferocity of the attack, tried to flee, but it was too late. The horses were relentless, driving it deeper into the forest. The chase went on for what seemed like hours, the sound of pounding hooves echoing through the trees. Finally, the python, exhausted and mortally wounded, collapsed under a tangle of roots. The horses gathered around it, their breath heavy, their bodies bruised and bleeding. They had won, but their victory was not without cost. The injured horse, his wounds oozing blood, leaned against his savior, the golden stallion. He was grateful, humbled, and filled with admiration for the horse who had come to his rescue. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the canopy, the horses parted ways. The injured horse, with the help of his companions, made his way back to the herd, while the golden stallion and his band disappeared into the forest. The jungle, which had been a witness to the epic battle, stirred back into activity. Birds sang, insects buzzed, and life returned to its daily rhythm, as if the events of the night had never happened. But for the horses, their lives would never be the same. They had faced death and emerged victorious. They had survived the wrath of the python and lived to tell the tale. And in the heart of every horse, the memory of the golden stallion and the legend of their unity burned bright, a beacon of courage and camaraderie that would guide them through the perils of their existence.